Okay, so that obviously is the Swedish folk song that sounds suspiciously like How Great Thou Art. It's always bothered me that song is taken from a Swedish folk song and yet it's copyrighted. So, but the way to get around that is to call it Swedish folk song. So, and that music should be on my website. I just reposted that, and it's up and available. And this is also a lesson for Sam. So, again, the same thing. If you saw my video on O Rugged Cross, the legato is key here, keeping the melody line flowing. I played that a little slow because I'm trying to follow the notes on the arrangement here. It doesn't have to go that slow, but it's still, I like it rather slow and expressive. Gives you a lot of opportunity to get some good tone out of the guitar. So let's go through this now. At the start, you're playing an A chord, and even though I don't show all the notes, I play the whole A chord. And as I talked to you in the last lesson, I always play my A chord with two fingers. So I use my first finger to get the third and fourth strings down and kind of come over the top this way and can get those down cleanly. And then I get my second finger to play the second string. So just so the thirds, little arpeggio, back to the D, and then the D chord and slide down on these two, the first and second. E7. All you need on the E7 there is really just your little finger here and your first finger up here on the G sharp. The whole A chord there, so you get that arpeggio. Same thing repeat again with a little variation. A little hammer on. A few extra bass notes. And you play 3 notes going down this time for variation. Now that open A, then slide up. I slide up and I play the third finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, second finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So from this position, it's easy to get the notes. You're playing a 3rd, and then you bring your 2nd finger over to the 1st fret, or 1st string, 5th fret, and then you got 6th, an interval of the 6th. So you, very little motion, you got that melody right there. And it puts this finger in the right spot to slide up to this A chord, which is simply a D chord slid up to the, 9th fret? Yeah. So let's go that again. Or just 2 notes, I guess, is all I get. So work on that if you're not familiar with those chords. This is, where was I? Oh, these are variations of the A chord, your barred A chord here. These are notes from that, so. But you just need, and then grab the A bass, and then take these 2 notes, slide them down 2 frets, and you can milk, here's where you can really milk a lot of tone out of the guitar on this section. So you can get a lot of this sideways vibrato because you don't have to worry about dampening even this 4th string because your bass is on the 5th string. Classical vibrato is this way, but on steel string you would vibrate this way if you were playing a nylon string guitar. But for steel strings, you can get even more vibrato by going up and down. So take that and then into this D chord, and then music looks a little tricky there, but it's simply playing this 3rd here at the top of the D chord with the bass, and then the 2 inner voices, And then reach down, grab a third, take this third in the melody, bring it down 1 fret, and then right back up. And then, so you're playing this third, and then you're playing this third off of this D chord, which is a variation of your bar D chord. So that whole phrase goes. By putting an extra bass note in there, that doesn't come to the second time. So then you're doing A chord. Now, to get to this is the A like this, where you're barring these 3 strings with your first finger, and you grab this upper A note with your little finger. So to get to that cleanly and keeping legato, you got to kind of settle into that. And then little fingers doing all the work there. And then a hammer on the A. Back to the same thing, repeats. And maybe the first time through you just do, and the second time you do the slide. Do that. There's the bass note. Little hammer on. That A chord. Now you're going to slide up to an E7, but it looks like it's just like your B7 here. If you play a B7, you're playing it up on the, instead of the 2nd fret here, you're playing on the 7th fret. So you're coming off this A in measure. We're at the end of measure. I didn't put measure markings on here. Anyway, the end of the 3rd staff on the 2nd page. So that little half bar on the 2nd fret. Slide up to on your little finger and put like a B7 down on the 7th fret. Now when you play this up this arpeggio, so you're playing the E here on the 7th fret of the 5th string, and the melody note here on the 1st string. So you play those 2, pinch those, and then you play the 4th string. Now you have to play the 2nd string and then the 3rd string to go up the arpeggio. If you went up the strings, you wouldn't go up the arpeggio. It's nicer to go up the arpeggio. So be sure to be... And then wham that bass note. You can give a little milk there. And then to go from here down to here, you're going to want to get that clean. You can also get this right here, but then you've still got to go down to this A. But so coming off the E at the start of the last line there. Hammer on. And you can get some vibrato on that last chord if you play it slow. Let's see. Watch my little finger now. You hear that? So you can play with vibrato on this. This piece really lends itself to a great expression. You can play with, there's variations you can add to it, but this would be enough to get you started. I think there's nothing else I need to go over here. Again, it's on my website. I'll have it under, I think I'll put it under General Worship. You'll find it there, and it'll say Swedish Folk Melody, or Swedish Folk Song, I think is what I titled it. So, but it sounds a great deal like How Great Thou Art. Take care. God bless.